off performance on it. And this was a good move by AL to set him behind early. I do wonder that if EDG are going to do something very similar in their top side and give ZDZ something that he can be lane dominant with, if Parukia might elect to stick around a little bit longer, or if they're going to try to maybe take a creative warding path. I know that in the past, with lane swaps back in the day, you used to ward in the middle of the lane going through your enemy's jungle. Maybe they'll do something like that just to catch a glimpse of what AL's setup looks like, as they first pick Cassiopeia is going to come in for Shanks or Hope.
Yep, like you said, it is a flex, and so is this Victor. Something that's rising up a lot, but with the Varus hover, I mean, it could technically be Varus top. Jinx would be a big mistake in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of this pick. I don't like the weight and scale ADCs. I much prefer something like this, the Nautilus, although it is a bit of a tough matchup into the Cass. EDG tossing around with a few ideas. Gonna just land on the Nautilus, something that's been very, very popular in the support this year. Kind of the only engaged support that was around during the Enchanter meta and now has maintained, is pretty good into Camille and into Bard. Kind of the premier catch support. Is Pantheon locked in here for AL with that Camille? This could be Camille Cassio in the bot lane. This could be Camille support with the Cass mid.
Yeah, well, I want to see an AD carry that has a lot of early game damage now. I want to see something where if you land a hook on this Nautilus, you can go and burst out this Camille or even potentially kill them. I think that Varus would be a fine pick for that. Once you stack up that Blight, you hit with even a medium charged arrow. If you activate your W, that's a lot of damage. You are potentially getting kills. And not only that, it leaves open the final pick flex. You could still send the Varus top. No, he's not as popular as he was earlier in the year, but it's still a very good pick up there. Also provides a lot of extra CC. So I like the start here for EDG. I'm a little bit worried about this mid lane and the scaling requirement that's going to come out of it. I personally don't think there's many junglers that pair super well with the Victor that don't get you run over in the early game. We'll see what the strategy is going to be, as AL has already taken out a Trundle.
I think Victor Zinzao is not too bad. Could be an option. For me, I'd like to see EDG ban the Sivir, and if they don't, it's quite telling that Varus is going top. Sivir's not good into Victor, but it is really good into Varus and Nautilus. So I could very likely see EDG go for a ban there, and if not, AL take the pick. Will be the Rumble ban. Banning for top lane does make it seem like the Varus could be going towards the top lane. Because you do have counter pick, so you wouldn't particularly need to ban away tops if you were just going to counter pick top. AL with their final ban here. And like you mentioned before, what is going to be the jungle selection from EDG? I mean, I think that the Zinzao is not bad. You could go towards a Qiyana, although that is a bit tough into things like the Cass. You could also leave it for last pick, like a Wukong isn't bad either. The problem is that you're always going to be engaging into a Cassiopeia, and the bunker is already really good. AL have a great front-to-back style. They have a lot of burst damage with the Pantheon, Camille, and then consistent damage with this Cass too.
Oh, with that Vayne ban coming through.
Okay.
That Renekton is going to be locked in for ZDZ, so we're going to give over jungle counter pick to Xiaohao, which I actually think is a pretty solid idea. It's just a matter of your picks are a little bit more limited by what your mid laner is providing in the early game, right? I think that the duo combination is just very hard to play out. See a couple of different hovers. I actually like the Sivir even more now. I think the on the hunt to get away from or chase down a Renekton would be quite beneficial, but it is going to be the Ziggs to ensure that this Camille can roam pretty much with impunity, and Ziggs try to stay as safe as possible.
Don't mind the Olaf. Cassante, Jax probably preferable for me. Something that can just do fine and go even against the Renekton. Maybe it's a little bit of a tough lane here throughout the early game, sorry. But it makes sense. I like the Cassante lock in here. What is the jungle selection? Trundle's banned, so that would be pretty nice into the Cassante. I was talking about this. It is super risky into the Cass, into the Camille, you just get locked down so easily. But it is a lot of damage. Paired with the Victor, you can very easily get these elims and work towards moving through the team comp. Looks like Xiaohao is going to go towards the Qiyana. Risky, it's a risky pick, but it does do a ton of damage. AL have so much burst with the Pantheon Camille Ziggs. They've got a Cass to round it out. They've got a nice front line. I think their comp is marginally better, but I think that if EDG can get off to a good start, winning top with like a 500 gold lead, jungle with a couple of kills, Victor have like Bulldog having a good lane, and then maybe leaving Parukia getting a bit crazy in the bot lane, finding some 2v2 kills, they can really take over the game.
Yeah, this is actually one of the few jungle combinations I do like with the Victor, because you get to not only provide some CC for that gravity field to go down and have a follow-up stun, but you also have plenty of damage. You did mention this Cassiopeia and how Qiyana playing into it is very difficult, but your Renekton trying to play into this Cassiopeia is also very difficult. That is my biggest worry for a lot of these team fights. If Qiyana and Renekton are attacking from similar angles, one miasma is going to really make the rest of the fight difficult for two of your premier melee carries in this game, Jbetto.
Yep. It's going to be a lot on AL's shoulders about how they find their burst damage and navigating through this early game, Yanni. I think that EDG have a good stance in the early game to get some gold onto their carries and push through the game. And where does this Qiyana get active throughout the early game is also really important.
Hopefully in the spot that either results in nothing bad happening or something good happening, because that's really all we're asking out of an EDG early game. It's game 2, AL EDG, starting now. It was a very half-hearted EDG.
Yeah, like they were like that game 1 too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know that this team is struggling. You know, Legacy Org is going to have a lot of fans. But it feels like you're just kind of going through the motions at that point. Like, we're here out of obligation. Kael can immediately move in on the Xiaohao and ignite him, taking him quite low and also stealing away 1 chicken nugget, 2 chicken nuggets. Will not stop him from hitting level 2, but will certainly make him a little bit more exposable on a potential invade.
Well, I've actually seen this a little bit in some tier 2, tier 3 gameplay with the Camille Ignite. When you just run an enemy jungler, level 1. Xiaohao does luckily get level 2 off the camp, and it doesn't cost him too much time. But that can work out very negatively for EDG if, you know, Camille steals just too much of the camp away. If Xiaohao goes down too much health, and obviously if there was a jungler there, that is a dead Qiyana. Not a whole lot you can do there. No crazy starts, at least on the top side, but Kael so far in this series has been very creative about how he wants to start the game. In game 1, it was the Shen top. This game, he's going for the Raptors invade level 1 by himself to all in the jungler and get a better tempo for his team.
I wonder how much of that is kind of limit testing a little bit. You know, you are going up against a weaker opponent, so, you know, strategies that you may have tried in scrims or conceptualized in practice, you're really trying to put them into play to see if they are successful, if they do work, if they do have merit, and if you can pull them out against some of the better teams, or if this is something that we could expect to see other supports that try to be a little bit more aggressive do throughout the ecosystem of League Esports.
Pretty interesting starts here for AL. Both Shanks and Breathe have already based and TP'd. Shanks only based with a Ruby Crystal, 2 pots, and a control ward that he's placed down in the mid-brush. Breathe TP'd back with Cloth Armor Refillable. Both these laners really wanted to get the TP on cooldown early, come back with just a little bit more strength and advantage in the lane. And it is paying off for Shanks as he's pushed Bulldog very, very low, forced to base and lose a couple of CS here in the lane. He should be fine, be able to grab probably Amp Tome and TP back. But it's interesting, a lot of players here are going the pink ward start. Xiaohao base got a pink ward, Bulldog base got a pink ward, so did Shanks and Tarzan. Getting these out early on the map, trying to get some vision control around these early pathings.
Take notes, Hardstuck low. Take notes. My team does not buy nearly
LS
enough
would not be happy.
Listen, my team needs to buy more pink wards. Shanks already taking Bulldog down to about half HP, burning through a lot of his mana, so Kael is going to show up here, likely to get Shanks another recall off. He's now at level 5. A pretty successful early start for the AL mid laner. We've talked about it before, you know, a guy who is not necessarily going to dominate you in lane on the kill sheet, but can certainly win lane against anybody and be a better playmaker than Bulldog. So far, we didn't really see too much of it, but Shanks wasn't really asked to do a whole lot in Game 1 anyway.
Seen a lot of different builds coming out from VODS. Sometimes going, you know, like a lethal tempo into poke. Sometimes with the AP build going PTA, and then obviously going the AP. This time going Comet start, and then going more attack speed with the Doran's Blade and building towards the Shiv. So could still go the on-hit build with Shiv. Could also go Shiv and then lethality. So very creative with these starts. I think that's... flash
nice
in.
Flash from Shanks. Forces that flash out of Bulldog, just trying to get over that gravity well. Force him back. No TP either, means that Shanks should have a fairly easy time here. We'll drop the ward again. Force Bulldog away even more. The CS lead is getting very, very tilted towards Shanks. This gold lead as well. This is very bad news for EDG.
Yep, so with that bow start, have to see what Leave ends up going towards in terms of his full build. But Shanks having a really, really good time in this early game in mid is in bot.
Hold on. Kael getting very low. Flash, but shorts the arrow as Kael also flashed away. There will be a lot of summoners burnt here on the bottom side, but EDG lose more summoners than they get. Turn on the Xiaohao here. He's got to try to hop away. Flashes away. Auto with the poison.
Poison
Means it's first blood going over to Shanks.
Wow, that is a lot of damage for the poison. I was not expecting it to do that much. You can really see how tough the matchup is or can be for Kiana. Stunned and then the miasma's put down. Just can't move. Poisoned plus the Deathfire touch. Don't steal it, breathe. But it's had a feeling, you know, just the way that he was walking. Now, ult in mid.
All right, going all in onto Bulldog, taken low. Kael walks around for a couple of extra auto attacks, and it's Tarzan getting the kill. And that means that Shanks can walk back. Bulldog has no way of getting back, and this gold lead is going to widen in the mid lane.
Yeah, this Tarzan guy's pretty good. What do you know? Yep, gets the kill onto Kiana, links up mid laner, then gets a Scuttle Crab, then instantly uses that to ult in onto mid lane to punish Bulldog with no flash, and links up with his support to do so. Pretty good level of play, if I do say so myself. Not a crazy lead for Tarzan specifically, as Shanks is stunned and hit by the Arcane Storm in the mid lane, but it's Shanks that actually has this big lead. He's up a lot of CS and that kill as well. Cassiopeia champion that is very happy with this lead. Feels like a similar story to last game though, Yanni. Tarzan dictating the early game, getting a lead and giving one of his carry lanes also a big lead too.
And it's so nice to see this out of AL when everything is working in harmony. With Shanks getting leads on his own, and then Tarzan showing up near the mid lane to, you know, dissuade any jungle assistance to the opposing laner. And then Tarzan and Kael linking up on that play. Something that was sorely missing from AL earlier in the season. The inability of Kael to really roam and link up with Tarzan. And now when you see it happen, it's no wonder why this team has just been so dominant in the early goings of Split 3. EDG go and pick up that dragon, and they're looking to group up in the mid lane here, not only to keep Bulldog safe, but also try to drive Tarzan off of these grubs. Flash hook goes wide. Shanks is able to walk away. Tarzan unable to secure any of these grubs for the moment. Kael looking for a re-engage. They're going to go all in onto Parukia. Not a whole lot of damage coming through yet, but here comes Shanks, ready to ruin the party for EDG. Leave trying to get away. He had dropped his ultimate a couple of moments ago, but he himself will drop. It is 2 kills for AL.
So, EDG have 3 pickaxes. They might need to start using them to dig out of the hole of this series, or just go further in and hide, because it's really not working out too well for them so far in this series. They rotate so many people up to these grubs. The flash hook misses. It is blind, sure, but still not great. There's your engage, chance gone. Parukia goes for the ward, and then there's just not your turn anymore. The Renekton didn't make it. Cassante got there first, which is really important. Like, you want the Renekton to be there at this part of the game, and he's not there. Kiana separated from his team. Much better played by AL.
Yeah, and I think that it's fair to criticize Parukia for that blind hook attempt, but I wonder how much of this is just the fact that this EDG team is under so much pressure in every game that they play in. Remember, they only have one individual game win, 0-4 in series, staring 0-5 in the face. And when things aren't going well, and in the early goings of the game, you're down, you can start to feel it. Wonder how much of that is somebody has to make a play and I have to be the guy to try to do it.
Yep. Who is that going to be? Is it going to be ZDZ on this Renekton? He's had a very quiet series. All of EDG so far have. Tarzan's lead hasn't gotten any bigger, but Shanks has. He's got a 1.2k lead. He's already got the rower stacking up. Has 2 stacks on Darkseal too. It's going to be a while before EDG start to complete these first items. You can see ZDZ and Xiaohao are doing that. Shanks.
A good turn from Bulldog, and he's going to drop everything on the Shanks to get some damage back, but can't even start his recall because of that noxious poison. Noxious blast. Kael's going to show up in the mid lane, help get the shove in here, and force Bulldog to miss more CS.
Yep. Not the greatest place to be right now. Cassiopeia as a champ has just been so strong recently. She's so fast and does a ridiculous amount of damage, and Shanks has been performing pretty well so far this split. So far on it. So that is really good for AL. It really helps them that he's got these picks that are, you know, not only the pocket picks like the Silas that he'll bring out, but he's also got the meta picks like the Cass that he can just do this on, where he's up nearly 1,500 gold in a matchup that is, it is tough, but is it 20 CS down tough? I'm not exactly sure. Bulldog struggling in this series so far and in this lane. Tarzan,
right.
Fine Xiaohao.
Xiaohao gets jumped on. Bulldog is far away, and Tarzan just 1v1 Xiaohao and makes it look easy. A depressing display of talent there, as it did land, but didn't change the fate of the EDG jungle.
It was a display of talent. I don't know what adjective I would use, but it was a display.
We're diving Bulldog here. We are sending everybody toward the EDG mid laner, but down on the bottom side, Hope forced the flash away.
Good
and
flash.
In the 2v1 goes 1 for 1.
Did still have the flash, or Leave did. So he wasn't dead to another tower shot even if he was still in range. Does have to base now as Kael is on his way. He's actually has a TP. He might cancel. No, the hook shot not quite long enough. ZDZ is rotated over.
ZDZ flashing forward, can't get a stun, and right into the petrifying gaze of Shanks. It is Tarzan picking up a 4th, and here comes Breathe from the side. Bulldog forced to flash away, but Breathe right on top of him. It is a 5th kill for Tarzan.
All right, it's getting to that stage again, Yanni. They lost 1 dragon, but it's feeling just like game number 1. We're 13 minutes in, 3k lead. AL are kind of just running away with this. Hope gets a 1-for-1 in the dive. And then Shanks and Tarzan are doing so much work together. Linking up and stopping ZDZ from getting in, stopping Xiaohao from doing anything. What's the soul of this game? A lot better.
You can feel the ground crumbling under EDG, and it looks like that might continue. Parukia hits the hook, but maybe he didn't want to. Leave is going to get hit with the all-out. He is forced to flash away, but the entirety of AL is down on this bottom side. No wave, luckily for EDG, as it could have spared their lives.
Well, that's all is pretty scary. We are a while away, but I think that AL are going to be a little bit more encouraged to go for the Dragons in this. Look at the flashes on EDG. 0. They all flashed in recent fights. 2 of them flashed at the exact same time, leaving Parukia both using their flash. Shanks now currently dealing with ZDZ.
Dominus land, Shanks flashing forward and will get the job done into the 1v1. Kael showing up just because he's a cool guy and wanted to help out his buddy.
Yep. One of the instances of the flash being down, Shanks uses his. ZDZ gets killed in the matchup. And Tarzan still has his flash. At any moment, here he comes.
Okay. Yeah, we are going in. It's Kael who gets engaged on first. Tarzan flashing forward. Leave is so close to death, and he does manage to get away, but on the backside, Xiaohao finds Kael, and now the turn's on to Tarzan, and now it's EDG that are able to turn this one around. It's a double kill for their Kiana, and no Milio on this team, but a breath of life into EDG as they're going to start the Herald.
Yep, feels good to get a win for EDG, but it is off of a mistake of AL. An unforced mistake where they just dive 2v4. Having a bit of fun. CDZ looking to find hope.
Oof. He's going to find a lot of damage and tuck his tail between his legs and get away. Let's take a look at this replay. Once I saw Kael position here, I was very worried about what was going to happen.
Yeah, a bit of desync here. Kael taken down very quickly. Tarzan can't deal with leave. And then Tarzan is just too far forward. Back at live, looks like Parukia actually is the one who got the Herald and then was taken down directly after. Now Breathe in the bot lane, doing okay in the matchup against EDZ, against his lane partner. But, I mean, Herald secured for Parukia. Yeah, he had to die for it, but that's an objective.
You'll take it at this point. With the way that the series has gone for EDG, game 1 being an absolute rout, game 2 trending that way, at least they got something there. They were able to punish the overextension. I mean, credit to them. You know, it's something that it feels like every LPL team can at least do, no matter how far behind they are. If their opponent overextends, generally speaking, they are at least able to punish. So we can add that to their bag of tricks in their gameplay. But it's not exactly a trick that you want to be known for.
Well, Leave is going Dusk and Dawn, which is a very interesting build. It is like an on-hit version, but kind of reliant on getting passive as quickly as possible. Kind of more of the AP version, which we don't see that often. At least outside of top lane. Parukia does have the Herald, which he could use during the fight of this next dragon, could use in mid lane as well to help get some prio, or just even crash against the tower and get the tower. I think it's got 3 plates left. It's Grand Starfall.
Here comes Tarzan. A lot of damage on the Xiaohao. Down to half HP. Takes the full brunt of the Mega Inferno Bomb, and the Herald got dropped in the mid lane.
Yeah, that has to be a mistake.
Just a bit of a distraction, or as you said, maybe trying to use the sweep or something like that. Over on the side, Parukia is going to get caught there, but he will be able to hook to a turret. And yeah, not the best use of that Herald, Jbetto.
I mean, maybe there's a world in which he was trying to give it to Xiaohao to get out, but it was way too slow to try to do something like that. I think there were so many options for the Herald, and that was not one of them, in my opinion. If you were going to use it for a fight, you would love it 25 seconds from now when the dragon spawns, but instead, EDG look like they're just going to be giving the dragon up completely, going for some top camps instead, pushing out some waves as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that a Battle Herald would probably be the best usage. Use it to try to get a couple of knockups on multiple members and then crash into a wall and follow up with a hook and an ultimate or something like that. But now you don't have that, and now you're likely going to die here as Xiaohao got caught in the cage, and it's Kael picking that one up. Teleport to the backside. There's EDG with the shield and the Dominus, but everybody on the side of anyone's legend is there to receive him and keep the Croc locked down.
Yep, not too bad. Here as... Oh, I gotta turn that down. My bad. Dragon now the option if AL want to go towards it. Pretty easy for them to do. EDG are struggling in this series. I am going to come out and say that I do not think they will be getting their win today. But showing some signs of improvement.
Jbetto.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Pretty good catch here onto Xiaohao. Fairly simple. AL, they're not even... They don't... It doesn't even look like they're really doing anything that's that crazy or needing to. Obviously, that's what happens when you're this much better than another team. I'm not trying to say that they are not doing anything good. They are. But when you're this much better than another team, you end up kind of making them look a little silly. And that's just how it is. 2 dragons, so that's not... that's a positive, I guess, for EDG. But they're going to need some really big wins here soon. And this is not one of them. That's a lot of damage.
Reptile and reptile violence there. It's not okay. The animal kingdom up in the top side.
Just snakes beat crocodiles in real life. I don't feel like... I don't know.
I don't know, but wouldn't you know that? Doesn't your country have Steve Irwin? The knockup is on the backside here. We do get a shutdown, but Tarzan looking to get to leave. He will slowly and finally fall. Stun is on to Tarzan, but he's got a double kill. Might even be a triple kill. Now Bulldog's going to be the last target, and Tarzan with the spear is not going to quite reach, so there won't be a quadra for him, but it will be Hope, who cleans up the final kill and gets an ace for anyone's legend.
Yeah, Breathe pushing in the mid lane as well. EDG looking desperate, but it is good that they're making plays on the map, not just sitting there and losing the game. Baron, a potential option soon for AL. It's very early, but they're so far ahead. Looks like already pings coming out potentially. I think that they do need Shanks to do the Baron fast enough. This is a good flash, but the fact that Shanks can buy enough time for his team to rotate in, and even in the 4 versus 2, 1 is all they can get.
Yeah. There's not really much more to say. When you are down this far, it's hard to play League of Legends. Whether you have played whether you're a League of Legends player and you've been in this position before, or you're a long-time League of Legends watcher and you've seen other teams in this position, you know it's just so hard to come back from this. And you're just looking for any individual goodness that you can get here. Kael and Hope looking to hold the rest of EDG at bay while their teammates look to finish off the Baron down to about 4,000 HP, but looks like they're pulling off the Baron into a turn. ZDZ pops that Dominus, wants to go in. Kael on the knockup, but knocked back by the Satchel Charge. It is a kill going over to EDG, and now Breathe is going to be the next target, down to half HP. Hook does land. Supreme Display of Talent as well. ZDZ once back in. Flash, stun is there. There's a kill for Xiaohao, but Breathe stays alive and gets a kill on the way out. Now it's a 4v2. Parukia a little low, but EDG will take their prize and walk away.
Okay, pretty ambitious Baron. It actually went down really slowly. I said that you needed to wait until the cast was here, and they did, and it still was slow. I think AL caught off guard a little bit by how slow the Baron really was. Kael dies before he can do literally anything. And Breathe, despite holding down the front line, is taking so much damage from this Varus. Hope as well gets flashed on and killed very, very quickly by Xiaohao. A really well-executed fight from EDG. AL, and they are far enough ahead that they don't lose the game off of a play, but if they did lose Baron, if the play continued, now we're talking about losing too much. So, gotta be careful with plays like that.
And Jbetto, we are at the point in the game where if EDG win another fight similar to that in a similar fashion, we're talking about them potentially back in the game. The AL gold lead is 3,500, which is large enough that you're comfortable, but small enough that if you make a mistake, you've let the other team back in the game. So I expect this to be around the time that AL is going to look to tighten up there. Already back to the scene of the initial crime, getting a lot of wards down. This next dragon's going to be coming up in 35 seconds. It would be their Cloud Soul point. See some benefit from it. Not a ton, but some.
I think that Xiaohao being down, like, 8-1 for Tarzan, 5-4 for Xiaohao, but Xiaohao's up 2,000 gold is really helping this.
Yes.
Also, Shanks not being able to participate in that fight. He is most of the gold for AL, most of the actual impactful gold, because he was separated from his team there. Wasn't able to do a whole lot. Very interesting build. No tier on the cast. It's Roa, Rocket Belt, and Actualizer. Kind of Rise build, to be honest. We've seen some Rises go towards the Rocket Belt, but also still no tier, which Rise would also go. So I'm a little confused about this build. Actualizer will do a lot of damage, but AL here first around the river. They'll start up the dragon.
EDG looking to muscle their way in. Kael from the side forces the flash out of leave and gets on top of him. And that Mega Inferno Bomb did so much damage. And the health bars, the math is just not there for EDG. It is another triple kill for Tarzan. EDG will lead the rest of the team on a wild goose chase. He will slice and dice back, but it is all futile. It is another kill for Shanks. He is 6-1, and it's AL moving on to the Baron.
This is pretty close. If anyone shows up at all, this wouldn't be possible to do, but Xiaohao is able to get the dragon to himself, as he does do quite a lot of damage on this Kiana. So there's that, but you are losing Baron. Now, AL are going to take the Baron win condition and hopefully try to end the game off of this. Really good engage from Kael. Gets the flash out of leave, then lands the ult. Like you said, Mega Inferno Bomb does so much damage to the Tarzan. Q flash ripping through all of EDG, and Shanks is here now. And that's where most of the gold, like we were saying before, is. EDG can't get away. He just tries to dash in and do what he can. Maybe he can get a pick, but he'll just fall down.
Felt like AL were kind of leaning back in their chairs, and after that fight near the Baron, they went back into the gamer pose, hunched over and ready to crush EDG at the next opportunity, and they certainly did. So now it's going to be a Baron power play. It's already given them a little bit of gold, but they will head up to this top side to take down this top tier 2 and expand their lead further.
Bulldog will get maybe a tower. Maybe he won't even get the tower, but I think AL are looking to end the Baron on this timer. 2 minutes is a bit risky, but
leave! Oh no!
Leave is struggling.
Yeah, he's gonna have to go to live up to his namesake and leave the area and go heal up. Well, Tarzan just taking turret shots with reckless abandon because we are now in a similar game state to game 1. 27 minutes into the game, Parukia is going to land this hook. It's good damage going in onto Breathe, but look who's coming in over the top. It is Tarzan.
Wow.
Team a little disconnected. Xiaohao gets a kill on the backside, but look at the rest of AL. Hold this front line. Leave is low and dead. ZDZ will die. They got Breathe, but it's just Breathe trying to make sure that his team can have the numbers advantage to knock down these Nexus turrets. The first Nexus turret will fall. Parukia in the bosom of the fountain will not result in a change to this game. The Nexus is exposed, and anyone's legend clean up EDG in a clean 2-0 series victory.
Yep, Kael nearly solo killed Kiana there at the end on this Camille champion. Maybe that says something about potential nerfs needed on this champion, but either way, AL played incredibly well. They've made a mistake around Baron, but for the most part in this entire series, they looked unstoppable. Breathe looks comfortable on the team right now. Some great TPs in game 1. Some pretty good frontlining in game 2. And I think that there should be no question that this team is contesting the top.
No doubt about it. We talk about how We need to see Breathe on these carries, show up a little bit more, get a little bit more opportunity. Game 2, they put him on the tank. Game 1, he got counterpicked after the Gnar came out. That early, and he wasn't asked to do a whole lot. That early lane was tough for him, but otherwise played quite well. And that's really the only question mark that we have about this team outside of can Hope play the weak side well. And in 2 games of playing weak side, he played pretty well. Now again, it is EDG. We're now 0-5. They are the worst team in Group Ascend. So not a whole lot you can really take from it. But given the way AL's other matches have gone, this is still good signs. They can get it done against anybody. They can, destroy EDG seemingly at will. And it feels like they'll be able to do so to a large part of this league. They are looking to be the top 2 team that we know that they were in 2025 and have the potential to be, but haven't necessarily lived up to that in 2026. A little bit of a late bloom in this season. We'll have to see what changes on the horizon will do to affect this team. Because if they can keep it this way and keep up what they're doing, happy to send them to Worlds again and have similar expectations to maybe last year.
MVP for this series, I think, has to be Tarzan. Not only game 1, but game 2 was unbelievable. An unbelievable performance from him. So to have not only the Nefiri, but the Pantheon 2 just completely pop off. What an excellent performance from the Star Jungler. Going through an interview right now. Shouldn't be too long before we get to the post graphics, and then see who is the MVP for the series as well. But I think there's no choice. I think Tarzan had such an amazing series.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can we give player of the game of game 2 to Xiaohao?
No.
Why not?
Because
he deserves it, man. He tried. He tried. He deserved it. He put in a really good effort out there. Can we at least give him an honorable mention for being proactive with these kills? Listen, the rest of the team collapsed around him, but he got his.
We can give an S MVP. If you've played Marvel Rivals before,
no,
you'll know what I'm talking about.
No,
someone will know. The MVP
what
on
does
the
it
losers.
stand for?
I actually have no idea what it means. I don't know what MVP stands for, but it's just what you give to the other team, and I can see that. I don't mind it. This is to be expected as an outcome for this series. I don't think anyone is super surprised. Obviously, EDG are unhappy. They've got a lot to work through. They're the team so far in Group Ascend that is struggling the most after all of those crazy change-ups with a bunch of new teams coming into Group Ascend. EDG still winless, which is not where you want to be at all.
EDG's next game won't be until next Wednesday, so they will have some time to iron out some of the kinks and maybe take a new approach. The bad news is it is against Top Esports, which is not going to be an easy feat. In fact, week 3 for EDG, Jbetto was kind of brutal. They go up against Top Esports on Wednesday. Then next Friday, they'll go up against JDG. And then the next day, next Saturday, the 8th of August, is BLG. I just don't know where you're going to potentially find a win. I think their next potential win could be against LGD.
Yeah,
maybe, and that's not until week 4, August 14th. I mean,
tough week coming up for sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty brutal stretch of Top Esports, JDG, who again, as we said, they're dealing with their own stuff right now. BLG, and then into AL again. I don't know, man. For AL, this stretch is quite a bit easier. Thunder Talk tomorrow, Team WE next Thursday, and then LGD on Saturday the 8th. So perhaps seeing AL extend an undefeated streak rather far, actually, looking very far into the future. Next time they're playing against a top 4 team isn't until week 5.
Good damage coming out from Bulldog and Leave, but not enough compared to the damage that Tarzan and Hope and Shanks were coming out with. Bulldog, the only person who's even remotely close. Great drafting from AL, great team play from AL. I don't think that there's too much to really pull from this series, other than AL are a really good team and will kick your butt when they're better than you. And Tarzan is really good. That's what I got from this series.
Yeah, and what's really funny about Tarzan being really good is this is something that you could have gotten from the top esports series too. You know, I mean, he played really excellent in that series. He's playing excellent League of Legends right now as a whole. And again, a lot of that is just because they're able to link up with Kael. This duo of Tarzan and Kael is one of the best duos, not only in the LPL, but one of the best jungle support duos in the world. We saw it last year. We are seeing it now here in Split 3 against some better competition than EDG. I hate to say it that way, but there's really no other way to put it. So I'm just looking to see these guys continue to do crazy stuff and keep this momentum up against, you know, the next time they play BLG, the next time they play top esports, even Team WE, who are all of a sudden a very, very scary team, and be potentially torchbearers for the region internationally once again.
Yep. It's kind of crazy, the WE, which we will be seeing later on tonight, just a little bit. But I also think Breathe has had a good series tonight. And I think that that's very important because he played against, I believe it was Wenbo on BLG, and I wasn't super impressed with that performance from either of them, but Breathe feels like he stepped up in this series at least. He still hasn't, you know, fully got there in terms of like where AL were, in my opinion, but he's getting pretty close. I am a fan of how Breathe has looked, and I think he's going to continue to grow really well in this team. Hey, look, one EDG highlight.
Yep, this was the one fight, and again, we talked about it in a game, or in this game earlier, with that wayward play in the topside jungle. EDG can still punish when things are, you know, you're being a little too aggressive, and you know there's a favorable fight for them.
Look at this.
They can punish you regardless of how far ahead you are. Back to your Breathe point, you know, it is pretty great to see that he's doing quite well on this team to kick things off. As good as Flandre as a player is, things were just not working with this AL team and him anymore, which is a shame because of how good this team was in 2025. You know, we aren't going to see him tonight, I don't think, but could see him down the line for a certain 3-letter team that is playing in the very next series.
Maybe. Who knows? You'll have to tune in to watch. Just
or
waiting on the
you
MVP
can just
here.
follow people on Twitter and see all the rumors.
Tarzan, player of the game. Makes sense. This should be Tarzan, player of the series. It's very simple. I would be...
How would he... I'm looking for a scenario where somebody would get double player of the game but not player of the series. I don't really think that could ever conceivably happen. But I'm like thinking, like, what would you need to do in order to not get MVP for 2 games but then get player of the series?
I think in this case, when it's a player getting both games MVP, it's not possible. But if it was like a 3-game series, you could have been MVP games 1 and 3, and you were the best performing on your loss. Could definitely see it.
Well, 6 out of 8 MVP votes in that game for Tarzan once again. This time around, a double mid lane coming out of the casters, but AI with Tarzan. So what is AI calling Pantheon? You know, we had the 100 strike hound. Okay, it doesn't say anything about the champion. Just says his Pantheon play. So if you had to name Pantheon something akin to what Neferi was named earlier, what would you name?
Was it the 100 strikes hound?
It was the 100 strike hound.
He's a human, right? He's not a god.
I don't know. I know League lore pretty well, but I'm calling him the aggressive Phalanx, that's for sure.
Okay, so I want something with his spear.
Well, so you know what the Phalanx is, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't have a
the
phalanx,
shield.
does
The
he?
shield. Yeah, his shield ability.
Oh,
you know where he goes
okay.
in. Yeah. So you know he's got his shield and his spear. You know, get it in the camera eventually. See, I'm Greek,
I do get
so I gotta show my love for Greek lore, and
like this.
and the Phalanx. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
This reminds me, I need to go get tickets to the Odyssey.
I've heard good things. All right. Yeah, I think. I mean, you were talking about to me, leave and the question mark about the mages, and I do still agree that there is a question mark there for sure, but that's a question for another day. EDG are gonna have to find something in this, group, because they are struggling. They struggled this game completely, but it's just an individual thing, right? It's not like, oh, their macro is really bad or their team fight set up so bad. Everyone was just losing everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're losing everywhere, Jbetto, you're gonna find it hard to win League of Legends. I know it's a hot take, but you need to have someone or something to hang your hat on if you're EDG, and it's just not happening at the moment. There's still, you know, a decent bit of split to go, so maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to change their fate. A team looking to change their fate is going to be Team WE, as they are taking on BLG. Once again, have had a lot of very close series against BLG, are looking to move ahead and take a victory against the top team in the LPL. There's one thing for certain, one thing for almost certain, Jbetto, is that the series is likely to go 3 games. But one thing for absolutely certain